The ANC Women's League is backing Finance MEC Nomusa Dube-Ncube to take over as the party's KwaZulu-Natal chairperson at the upcoming elective conference. So this position wields significant power, as KZN politics have always strong-armed the ANC's national agenda through top six positions. Newzroom Afrika's senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo has more.
Will MEC Nomusa Dube-Ncube become the first woman to become chairperson of the biggest province of the ANC?
We felt that it's a right time for the women to lead the province in the ANC and in government. So if we are choosing to elect Comrade Nomusa as the chairperson, we know very well that she is going to be the premier if the wins elections in 2024. So it's our right as women to support any candidate that we felt in that particular time that person can take the development of the province forward.
The once formidable KwaZulu-Natal ANC is trying to reorganize and re-energize itself to return to its former glory. But the divisions which have bedeviled the organization since its 2015 provincial conference and at the 2017 54th National Conference are yet to be resolved.
Well, you see, the situation in the province is quite different from what it was in 2017. I always say to a number of people about that. We've already done 5 of our 11 regional conferences. All of them have gone very well. Of course, there was a contestation of leadership positions, which is inherent in our politics as a democratic organization. But those contestations were not as fierce as they would have been, or they were actually in 2015 and 2016, which resulted into the province being to some extent very paralyzed, very divided, and incapable of providing the strategic leadership that is supposed to provide, even as we go to a national conference.
In 2017, the Pietermaritzburg High Court declared the party's 2015 elective conference null and void, which invalidated the positions of 30 provincial executives, plunging KZN into a crisis. Later that year, at the 54th elective gathering at Nasrec in Johannesburg, the province was so fractured it couldn't influence having one of their own in the top six, which signaled its waning power. But for Professor Paulos Zulu, the home province of those who sit in the top six doesn't matter if that person is not representing the interests of those who put them in power.
I do not think the question of who sits in the top six and where they come from is very pertinent, given that, let's just take Senzo, who was contesting for the top six. It was not a KwaZulu-Natal decision or aspiration that the personality of the person of Senzo sits in the top six. If you look at the fractions in KwaZulu-Natal, he was not, the KwaZulu-Natal was predominantly NDZ. Senzo was not NDZ. In other words, the presence of him in the top six would not necessarily have reflected the aspirations of KwaZulu-Natal.
Another political analyst believes KwaZulu-Natal would first need to manage the stability and unity in regions such as eThekwini before considering making an indelible mark at the 55th conference.
It seems to me that lastly, the disunity happened in 2017 in spite of the fact that they still have this critical figure in former President Jacob Zuma as a unifier of the province. Now, without him at the center of things, I wonder what would the province use to unite itself as these noises come up about Zweli Mkhize is coming back, and the northern part of the province wants to assert itself. wasn't in fully in agreement over the deal with the IFP.
The province still has 6 regional conferences to host and is hoping that these will be finalized before the provincial elective gathering in July. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ziyanda Ngcobo in Durban.